Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. It's Nazir, Coach Nyla from OutstandingPersonalRelationships.com. And I know I'm looking a little tired, but it is what it is. Didn't necessarily get much sleep. But I just want to talk to you about something that's extremely important, and that's growth. Growth. Growth is really optional. It's optional. It doesn't just necessarily come with age. It really has to be intentional. And what I mean by that is, if you're still thinking the same thoughts, you're still doing the same thing you were doing 10, 15, 20 years ago in a relationship, you're likely going to have the same type of results. You're likely not going to grow. You're either growing or you're dying. I had mentors, thankfully, that saw more of me than I saw myself. So they said, I'm going to give you just one, I don't like to call it a hack, but it's one high-performing principle that really changed my life, that helped me grow. And mentors, they saw more of me than I saw myself. And they said, listen, Nazir, one thing you need to do is to make sure you're growing. And he said, you remember Neo and the Matrix, and I don't know if you guys watch movies or not, or remember how revolutionary it was with Neo when he was downloading information to his brain. Well, here's the thing. We had the same opportunity. We had the same ability. So with growth, he said, listen, would a person who reads, let's say, 50 books in their area of expertise, whether it's professionally or personally growing, if you're learning about relationships, if you're learning how to communicate, if you're learning how to parent or learning influence or what have you, if a person reads 50 books in a certain area or a certain topic, will that person be better off than the person that reads 5? And I'm like, of course. I mean, that just makes common sense, right? So, okay, cool. Well, what if you're reading one book a month? So just one book a month, an average book, 300-400 pages. So one book a month equates to about 15 minutes a day or 10 pages a day. So which can be done usually in about 10-15 minutes, right? So that changed my life because I was initially like, I wasn't into reading books. I was like the vast majority of the population. I was a functioning illiterate. And what I mean by that, I could read and write. I could read and write well. The challenge is I didn't do it. So what's the difference between someone who is illiterate and can't function and a person who can read but chooses not to exercise that? You don't grow. So certain books were recommended to me, and I decided, you know what? I need to grow. I need to expand myself. And this was, I was what? Late teens, early 20s. All right, and I had these people just pouring into me. The challenge was my cup was already full with other stuff. So here's a principle that I learned. My mentor said, listen, Nazir, you need to learn how to lie, cheat, and steal. I'm like, bruh, what you lie, cheat, and steal? Come on, man. All right, he said, no, just listen. Just listen. And I said, okay, what you talking about? He said, you need to lie awake in bed at night thinking about the possibilities for your life. To live better, to see and think about those who suffered through many different changes, many different struggles, many different opportunities, and many different things that got me to this point right now, that got us to where I'm right now, or happily discontent, if you will. So he said you need to lie in bed awake at night, thinking and dreaming about the possibilities with your eyes open. He said you need to cheat. I'm like, okay, well, I like what you said with lie. I could vibe with that. What you mean by cheat? He said, well, you need to cheat time away from the little things. Cheat time away from the dream centers. Cheat time away from the TV shows. Cheat time away from, there was no streaming videos and stuff back then. So cheat time away from the things that take your life. Mainly back then was, again, TV shows or aimlessly wandering the internet. Cheat time away from that and invest in yourself, because the biggest investment, the biggest asset you will have is yourself. And this is all part of self-love. This is all about the second most important relationship you will ever have, and that's with you. The first, I believe, is with your creator. That's with Allah Ta'ala. The third thing he said is to steal. Now I'm like, okay. He said lie, cheat, and steal. I can vibe the lie. I can vibe the cheating, time away from the things that don't necessarily matter. And he says steal every good idea you hear. Every good idea you hear, write it down, put it in a journal. Trust a short pencil over a long memory every day. Because we'll forget the vast majority of things we have, but when you write it down, that kinesthetic thing that you're feeling and you're writing it down in the way we're designed, you'll remember it even if you never go back to it. But write it down. Steal every good idea you hear. And I'm like, okay, so from these books is where I steal them from. From conferences, conventions, from sitting with mentors, from learning from your children, from your spouse. Steal every good idea you hear. Every good idea. It doesn't take much. It takes very little. So I'm like, okay, still every good idea you hear, he said. And then one of my other mentors said, it's okay to copycat as long as you copy the right cat. So I don't care if you're talking about a Tony Robbins, a Brendan Burchard, a Yusuf Chowdhury, okay? Or if you're talking about a Marianne Williamson, and Elanya Van Zant. It doesn't really matter. But as long as you steal some good ideas and implement these concepts in your life, it will change things. If you want to change 100% a year from now, you don't need to make drastic change every single day. You need to change 1/3 of 1%. That's 0.03% every single day. That's extremely small. But over a year, over 300 days, over 300 plus days, that's 100% change. That's going in a totally different direction. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about changing your diet, you're talking about stopping smoking, stopping drinking, stopping some negative type of addictions, or praising your children, having a better relationship. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start the process and you continue the process, and that you understand it is actually a process. It's not just an event. It doesn't happen just one time. It's a process. So with that, prayerfully got some good information. I'm going to encourage you to lie, to cheat, and to steal. Right. Lie awake in bed at night thinking about the possibilities, planning things out. Cheat time away from the little aimless things that steal your focus. You know, we are masters of distraction nowadays. We have so many tools and gadgets and things that we're using non-productively. And steal every good idea you learn. And of course, one of the easiest ways to do that is to steal it from the books that you're reading, the audios that you're listening to, the mentors that you're sitting with. And if you feel you have none, go to YouTube. It's free. Go to the library. How much are library cards nowadays? Yeah, they're free. All right, so with that, I appreciate you. Remember that a wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. To connect with me personally, connect with my wives, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. I look forward to sharing more information with you, especially what has happened just over the last 72 hours. So again, remember that a wish changes nothing, but a decision changes everything. I'm out. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.